Good afternoon. Uh, I am Shanbhag, Shirish Shanbhag, speaking on deemed conveyance. So, deemed conveyance is a way to convey the building and the land of a cooperative housing society or condominium or a buildings public limited company. That a building, a it may be a purely housing flat or a mixing of uh, shops, offices, and housing flat, or it is purely a industrial or commercial building. In this Government of Maharashtra rule, MOFA Act says that Maharashtra Ownership Flat Act, MOFA, it says that when 51% of the flats are sold, they have to, the buyers of the flat, I use now here flat includes the commercial premises, go down, whatever the premises that they are available there, but mainly it is for the flat, so I am using the word flat. When 51% of the flat in that building are sold, those flat buyers should come and form either cooperative housing society or condominium, that is the apartment association of apartment it is called, and or a public limited company. So in this case, that within 4 months of forming any one of these, that the builder who has built that building and the landowner on whose land that builder has built the building, they should together come and give conveyance to that institution. I use institution here, but henceforth I will be using cooperative society. That is, institution means it may be cooperative society, a housing society, or apartment society, or a condominium or a public limited company of the premises. Now, if that conveyance is not given by them after 4 months, what is the remedy? Till 2011, going to the High Court was the only remedy left with that uh, cooperative society, cooperative housing society. However, in 2011, Government of Maharashtra brought a reform in MOFA Act, whereby that deemed conveyance is given. What is the deemed conveyance? In the deemed conveyance, that after 4 months of formation of the society, that society will give a notice to the builder and the landowner to give the conveyance. Conveyance means ownership of the society's buildings land and ownership of society buildings, society's building, land by the landowner and building by the builder. Now here it is so difficult that these people, they think that when in future that FSI increases, then they can extract money from that society for using that FSI. In fact, that FSI is given only to the society by the government, not to the landowner or to the builder. But they want to just blackmail the society for using the benefit of increased FSI. Now here, because of this, that in Maharashtra state there are about 2,50,000 cooperative housing societies, of which some 90% cooperative housing societies that ownership has not got, in the sense conveyance is not done, and because of this, that government found some way of taking the law in government's hand. What that government did in 2011, then after giving three notices, after giving a notice to that 1 month notice to that builder and the landowner, then that society will apply for deemed conveyance. What do you mean by deemed conveyance? Because the landowner and the builder have distanced themselves from giving the conveyance. And remember, it sometimes it so happens that landowner is ready, but builder is not ready, or builder is ready, landowner is not ready. Even in that case, also they have to go for deemed conveyance, because that when you go for the deemed conveyance, that government competent authority is given a authority by the government to put its signature for landowner and the builder to give conveyance to the society. And that competent authority, whether it is cooperative housing society or condominium or public limited company, residential or commercial premises, that competent authority uh, is district deputy registrar of cooperative societies. Okay, because so many people where they are having condominium or public limited company of the building, they are confused that who will give us conveyance, deemed conveyance. So it is the same, that district deputy registrar of cooperative societies is the competent authority to give conveyance. That there are about 27 documents which have to be given, when you make an application to the competent authority, and that application becomes your application becomes so thick that in box file you will have to give all those documents, and sometimes it becomes multiple box file, two box files, and two box file in a bag, well tight, you will have to give. Now here, that we are having some 24 documents, and all those documents, if society is not having, then you can surely get them from proper sources. Now here, that you are having, that you first item in the list is, it is a cooperative uh, name of the applicant, in the sense applicant is cooperative housing society, and then you'll have that form number 7. That form number 7 is available on IGR site. IGR stands for Inspector General of Registration, IGR Maharashtra.gov.in. On that, that form number 7, in which you have to make an application, is available on its site. You can download it, and you can fill up your details, and you will have to type it. You will have to type it on a 200 rupees judicial stamp paper. Remember, even advocates are not aware of the judicial stamp paper. They go and buy from a vendor and just start writing. With normal vendor, that non-judicial stamp paper is available. So in this stamp paper, India judicial, it is written, and it is not a non-judicial. And these papers are usually available with a stamp vendor who are sitting near court or inside the court, because judicial stamp papers are always required for judicial matters which are taking place, the civil matters which are taking place in any court. So therefore, that judicial stamp paper of 2000 rupees bought in the name of the society, that when you buy the stamp paper, society should go with its round seal to the stamp vendor and give it to the stamp vendor to impress that on that judicial stamp paper and give it. And sometimes it so happens that he is not having 2000 rupees stamp paper, then you can buy two of 1000, or if 500 rupees stamp paper is available, you can buy four stamp papers of 500 rupees. It is just like this. You will have to give me 1000 rupees, 200 rupees 5 notes, 500 rupees 2 notes, or 100 rupees 10 notes, or 50 rupees 20 notes, all make that value of that money that you owe to me is 1000. So, in the same way, the stamp papers, because people sometimes they say, you are having 500 rupees stamp paper, tell me when 2000 rupees stamp paper will come. So, no need that you buy whatever that in the name of society and start your work. And when you are typing that form 7 on that uh, non-judicial stamp paper, first you type raw, take Xerox copy of those stamp paper, and take printout on the Xerox copy to see that setting is properly done on front side and back side. It is not being printed on the stamp portion or the rubber stamp portion, front as well as on the back, and only on the uh, blank portion it is printed, and all pages backside front side printed. That way you'll have to make this one and adjustment. And if that number of pages of in the stamp papers is more than the matter, then you will have to adjust in all the stamp papers. If you get only one 2000 rupees stamp paper, no, judicial stamp paper, in that case your matter is more, in which case for additional matter you will be using ledger paper. And then that document of form 7 has to be signed by the authorized person of the society, who will be either secretary or chairman, nobody else, and in front of a notary. Okay. And then other documents, other documents in this list, important thing is that society should go pass a resolution in its general body meeting, that society will go for conveyance by writing letter, by giving notice to the builder and the landowners, giving 1 month's time. And if they fail, then society will go for deemed conveyance with the competent authority. And society, on behalf of society, that you write three persons, that is secretary, chairman, and a treasurer or any one committee member will be looking after this work and do the signature wherever it is necessary in the deemed conveyance papers. And then with this comply lot of uh, other documents. So I say that there is one office called city survey office, where you will get property card and property map of your land. There is one office called talati office, where you will get that the 7 by 12 extract and village form, that is mutation entry in 6 form 6. And there is one that a person who is above talati, that is uh, sub-divisional officer, and with him you will get that any order and that after getting this from these three revenue officers, you will go to municipal town planning office in Mumbai. That municipal town planning office is called building proposal department. It is only in Mumbai, in Maharashtra. Everywhere it is called town planning department, which passes the plan for the building. Now that in Mumbai, because it is a vast place, it is having town planning department in its head office, but the office which is passing the plan of the building, it is removed from the town planning department and it is placed at five different places in Mumbai, and there you will have to go and get your documents. And what are the documents? That building plan, then that building's commencement certificate. Now sometimes that building's completion certificate and occupancy certificate are not obtained, and if they are not obtained, deemed conveyance is still possible, but building plan and the commencement certificate of the building is necessary. And if that building completion certificate and occupancy certificate are not available, then the society can give an affidavit to the competent authority stating that after they get the conveyance order, deemed conveyance order, they will go to municipal office, comply all the irregularities, and get that building completion certificate and the occupancy certificate. And with that, that everything will go fine. Now here, that you have to get the list of flat purchasers, that list of flat purchasers, that floor wise from ground floor to top floor. If only one building is there, if multiple buildings are there, in the same way to building number one, two, three, like this, and then that the all these flat purchasers sale its index 2. Index 2 means when you are registering a document with sub register of assurances, that sale deed, its one page summary is given by him, and that summary is called index 2 of the sale deed. And that index 2 of sale deed is available only if sale deed is registered. But if the sale deed in earlier days, say before 1995, sale deed, most of the buildings, their sale deeds are not were not registered. In that case, that sale deeds Xerox copy, it may be 5 page or it may be 50 page, you will have to attach it. Okay. And then whatever that society or what society's registration certificate, its Xerox copy you will have to attach, and then the legal notice is sent to the. That is not necessary that legal notice in the sense that it should be sent to an advocate. Society itself, society secretary or chairman can send the notices, and it will be legally valid. Okay. Uh, to the builder and the landowner, you will have to attach, and any other dispute if you are having in the court of law, uh, then that its extract will have to attach. Now here, any small dispute is there in the court of law, deemed conveyance order is passed. Okay, deemed conveyance order is passed. That sometimes landowner and builder deliberately go against the society to see that that society is not going for deemed conveyance. But there are certain rules that government understands that whatever that uh, I have one society, they found there is absolutely no way that they can go to the court What they did was they went to the court stating that it's that housing society's registration is fake, and they society also went, and then it was not necessary to go there. That society should have made an application to the district, I mean, your deputy registrar of cooperative societies who has registered that society, and asking him to give the letter. And that letter, if they would have submitted to the High Court, that case would have immediately dismissed. But nobody thought of it. This way, they go it proof that is called proof of registration, and then an affidavit stating that whatever on 100 rupees stamp paper by the society, whatever that whatever that document they have submitted is their own and true to the best of their knowledge. And then with this, that document submitted to the district deputy registrar, who is a competent authority, will call for hearing. In the hearing, society, builder, and landowner, all three are called, and maximum three hearings should take place. If there is no objection by this landowner and the bidder, or there is no valid objection, then after third hearing, that competent authority will pass deemed conveyance order. And this is the first step of deemed conveyance. Now here, at this stage only, I want to enlighten you that sometimes some of the advocates, what they do is, if there is small queries, or if there is delay in giving the order by the district deputy registrar, they take the case to the High Court under writ petition. Definitely not necessary for any state of deemed conveyance to go to High Court under writ petition. Government itself has made ADR, alternate dispute resolution, so that you should not go to High Court. One ADR is that Lokshahi din complaint. Lokshahi din complaint is held by district collector against any difficulties you face with the Maharashtra government offices. Okay, against the DDR, you can make a complaint under Lokshahi din, and on first Monday of the month, the district collector hears the Lokshahi din complaint and he passes the order. On 5th December 2013, that Maharashtra government, Prithviraj Chauhan was the chief minister, thought that they have to make some area specially for deemed conveyance. So the same way, that is the area that is used for dealing with the general complaint of the government of Maharashtra, that is Lok Shahid complaint hearing by district collector, the same thing, same way, that deemed conveyance Adalat was made, which is held on, also held on first Monday of the month, along with the Lok Shahid hearing by the collector, district collector himself. Huh? Now here, that deemed conveyance Adalat and the Lok Shahid complaint, what is the difference? That deemed conveyance Adalat, that your complaint is first heard by the district collector in his deemed conveyance, a conveyance, a coordination committee, that in district collector's office, that there is one coordination committee which contain that collector is the head, and one competent authority, that is district deputy registrar, one tahsildar, that is for 7 by 12 extract, one city survey officer, that is for property card and a property map, one civil engineer from a municipal corporation, from building proposal department or town planning department, who gives that building's plans or verifies the building plan, and these are the four people who are responsible for scrutinizing a deemed conveyance application pending with the district deputy registrar. And district deputy registrar is is instructed by the government that after every hearing he has to give extract of the hearing to the district collector to look into the difficulties faced by the societies in these hearings, and that that is properly looked after by this committee. And this committee also given a, this is from government side, this committee is also given a right to hold deemed conveyance adalat on Monday of the month when Lokshahi complaint hearing take place. Before Lokshahi complaint hearing or after all the complaints, Lokshahi complaint hearing, that deemed conveyance adalat with these four officers present there, and the complainant societies representative, secretary, or any member, committee, many committee member who will just present himself, present his society's case, which is pending at any step. Okay, first step is with the competent authority. Second step is the adjudication of the deemed conveyance deed with the collector of stamps, and third step is the uh, registration of the conveyance deed with sub register of assurances. Fourth step of the deemed conveyance is the transfer of property card by an application by the society with the copy of the deemed conveyance deed at city survey office. Fifth step is also at city survey office, that is to do survey of the society's land, and uh, after that property card transferred in the name of society, do survey of the society's land and give give society's land map on which the outline of the society's building is shown. And sixth step is that 7 by 12 extract and mutation entry 6 at Talaki office. And last step is that common area municipal property tax, the bill of common area municipal property tax is given in the name of the society, and individual flats municipal property tax is given to the individual flat owners by the uh, the assistant assessor and collector of the concerned municipal ward in which said society's building is located. So this way, two in seven step that deemed conveyance should go. And when you are using that deemed conveyance adalat or Lokshahi complaint, you will not find a single person asking for even rupee under table. From 2011 till today, in last 11 years, that I myself have done under my consultation some five societies, one in Pune, one in Thane, and three in Mumbai. About 16 people from six districts of Maharashtra under my guidance, they have successfully done. That is from Mumbai city district, suburban district, Thane, Palghar, Pune, Solapur, Kolhapur, and Ratnagiri. So this way, in 8 districts, they have done it, and nobody has paid even 5 rupees under table because that people are not aware of this idea which is given by this. And remember that advocates, they go to High Court, and what happens that High Court passes one judgment. Now anything doesn't go according to judgment, then we'll have to make another case, contempt of court for not obeying the judgment. That means again we'll have to go to court, high court, and because of this, that your time as well as money is greatly wasted because there we'll have to pay fat court fee and advocate's fee, and it amounts in, if not thousand, it lacks sometimes, and wastage of time. But ADR that government has kept, nobody is using it. That ADR for deemed conveyance Adalat, that is, it is kept from 2013. Within 2 years of deemed conveyance process started, it is kept, and that Lokshahi complaint exists from 1995, and since then I am using that Lokshahi complaint, which is best way of redressing your complaint. And when you are stuck up in deemed conveyance, I suggest people that you make Lok Shahidin complaint as well as deemed conveyance Adalat complaint, because I have found that only in Mumbai suburban district that my complaint of my personal case of one suburban cooperative housing societies, that deemed conveyance order was delayed by competent authority. I took it to the deemed conveyance Adalat, but I have checked later on at other places, other districts, that hardly anybody knows. Some districts, even collectors are also not knowing. When I show them that deemed conveyance, that is a deemed conveyance Adalat GR, that time they say, yeah, 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 we are having that coordination committee, but we are not knowing this GR of deemed conveyance Adalat, because that coordination committee exists. That I told you that uh, uh, that district deputy registrar, that is competent authority, uh, a engineer from town planning department, a tahsildar, and the city survey officer, and with the district collector as the chairman. So that coordination committee exists in every district, but hardly anybody takes notice of the coordination committee and the deemed conveyance adalat. Okay, now after you get that order in the first stage from competent authority, that is called deemed conveyance order, you'll have to make a conveyance deed. And in this conveyance deed, who are giver and who is taker? Givers, that is, the conveyors are that uh, builder and the landowner. And you will write here that name of that competent authority, that is competent authority come district deputy registrar of the place. If it is Mumbai suburban district, I will write that Mumbai suburban district, there are three district deputy registrar, number one, two, three, like this, and then he will be the signatories for the builder as well as landowner, and the the person to whom it is conveyed land, and this one you are building is society. On behalf of society, that you will be that society's secretary, chairman, and one of the committee member or the treasurer will be signing. And now that's in the second step, that when you are giving this complaint, you are convinced it with that some documents attached to it. I am not giving the list of documents because at second step it takes place at collector of stamps. Collector of stamps and collector, they are two different people. Collector of stamps or superintendent of stamp in some district, uh, he is concerned with the adjudication, is a quasi judicial authority who will determine how much stamp duty has to be paid on an agreement. That on conveyance deed, how much stamp duty is to be paid, that that collector of stamp determines. And usually in all the district, collector of stamp office is located in the district collector's office building only. And if it is not, then you can ask any sub registrar's office where collector's office is, collector of stamp office is situated. He will tell you, or even district collector office you can ask. He will tell you where it is located for that district. And then he is giving, that office will give you a 8 page uh, uh, for form to be submitted after duly filling it, uh, with the conveyance deed in a file, uh, to the collector of stamp office. Now, as you submit it, that after not less than 14 days, that on your conveyance deed, stamp duty is determined. Now, how that stamp duty is determined? If all the agreements of flats in the society are duly registered by sub-register of assurances, then the stamp duty will be only 100 rupees per flat, and registration charges will be only 30,000 rupees for that agreement, that conveyance deed. And if some stamp duty remains to be paid because that person has not done that agreement properly, in which case you will have to pay that stamp duty as determined by the district deputy registrar, and you can recover from the flat where that stamp duty was paid less. Now here you'll have to do another homework there, that sometimes that some of the flat owners, they are not having, they are not living at all. They simply log and go to foreign countries. Okay. And you will find that to get their sale deed becomes a Herculean task. In which case, with the sub registrar's office, there are some forms are available. Okay. That form number two, form one, two, three, and four. Such four forms are available. That form number one is for change of correction of index 2. Form number 2 is for getting the certified copy of index 2 from sub registrar's office. Form number 3 is for getting the certified copy of your registered sale deed of your flat. And form number 4 is search form. Search form means that you know that this person has registered his flat somewhere between 1995 and 2000. So in that search form, you write that seller name or buyer name. If you don't know the seller name, surely you know the buyer name. One who stays there, whose name you know it, because society transferred it. So you write only the buyer's name, and after putting 10 rupees, 4 rupees stamp, you just submit that to the sub registrar office. Now, sub registrar office for your application will give you that in that 5 years time, when that person, buyer, has taken that flat. Suppose if he has taken in that area more than one flat, in all the flats that he has bought in another society or in your own society, that he will give that registration number, registration date, and the flat's address with the flat number and society's name. And then with that, with that search report, you can find out that flat that is taken by him. And then in second step, that with that flat, closed flat, you can apply for a, a index 2 by, under form number 2. Okay, so you apply for index 2, and then that you attach to that your uh, adjudication of the conveyance deed document to be submitted to the collector of stamps. So this is the only step which most of the societies are finding it difficult, but it is possible. However, sometimes when the flat is purchased in 90s or 80s, they were not registered. So if such flat you come across, then you'll have to do court some court work, and then you'll have to pay some fine to make a duplicate uh, sale deed of that flat. And I suggest, if such thing comes, what you can do is you can escape that one step of the government. The person who society watches that this person is the owner, legitimate owner of this flat, then that person can do one gift deed to his son, husband, or wife, or daughter, whomsoever they want to make gift, and that gift deed becomes that document. Remember, in in this conveyance deed document, for each flat, there is no need to get you that chain of document. Only last document is enough. Sometimes it so happens that that last document is of grandfather. Okay. Now the grandfather expired some 15 years back, and because of his grandfather, it is transferred to his son. That means your father. Unfortunately, before that uh, conveyance work, a year before, your father also expired. Now it is you who is the owner. So what to do now? In this case, you take that grandfather's registered deed and attach your grandfather and father's uh, death certificate, copy of death certificate, and your that share certificate transferred in your name, and that in that list of uh, people who own the flat in which your name will come, and this way that you can manage. Okay, these are some difficulties which we are facing it, and how to tackle them. I am having full solution. And this way, when you are placing it to the adjudication, then after 15 days, maximum 21 days, that your deed will be adjudicated, and you are given a challenge by the district deputy registrar to pay the stamp duty and registration charges together, because you will not simply pay the stamp duty and keep quiet. You will also do the registration of that agreement after paying the stamp duty. So you'll have to pay stamp duty and registration of that conveyance deed simultaneously. And sometimes, or maybe deliberate, or maybe just overlook that after adjudication you are given a challenge to pay only stamp duty. You insist them, you also want to pay registration charges also along with the stamp duty. Then that collectors of stamp office will give you that some two entries. One is for depreciate stamp duty, and another is for registration charges for the conveyance deed. Now, once this payment of conveyance deed and registration charges, you can do by payment by cash or by check at designation branches of some of the banks, and with that paid challan, you come back to the district deputy registrars. Sorry, come back to the collector of stamps office. Now, collector of stamps will put a seal on your conveyance deed stating that you have paid stamp duty fully and you also paid conveyance charges also fully. And with that, with that conveyance deed, you have to go to competent authority for his signature, for builder and the landowner, for his signature for builder and the landowner. Okay. Now you will not just go and ask that conveyance deed. You have to put it in a file along with its xerox copy, on which that society is covering letter stating that we are enclosing here with the our conveyance deed uh, attached with the conveyance order. The conveyance deed will contain the competent authority's conveyance order, part of that conveyance deed. Remember, and kindly put the signature for builder and the landowner and return. And with that, that on your copy of that letter, after giving that file, copy of the letter, you take signature of that uh, competent authority, and that person will call you after 5 to 7 days, and then you will find that on at the place where where that builder and the landowner has to sign, that that competent authority has put his signature with his office seal. And with this that competent authority's work gets completed. However, now we'll have to take this signed deed to your society. Your society will sign now for society by its chairman, secretary, and this one. And after signing this, you will have to take a xerox copy of this conveyance deed and a covering letter addressed to sub register of assurances, asking him that we are having signed conveyance deed here, and kindly registered the deed and oblige. And here, sub registrar, usually when you are registering a sale deed of your house, you will have to take the you will have to take your appointment online from the sub register of assurances. In this case, that appointment will not be given online. It will be given offline by sub registrar himself. And after you submit this conveyance deeds xerox copy, you have to come with the original conveyance deed, and he will just see that conveyance deed and xerox copy, compare that it is the same that you have put in that file, that xerox copy of the conveyance deed and covering letter. He will return that, and he will give you acknowledgement on covering letter, and he will return you the original conveyance deed and give you the time after 14 days. What for 14 days? During this 14 days, he will issue a notice to that landowner and the builder, asking, informing him that the society has come to me for registration of its sale deed, conveyance deed, which is signed by district deputy registrar for builder and the landowner. However, if you are having any objections in registering this conveyance deed, then within 14 days of this letter, you'll have to bring a stay order from High Court. Remember, from High Court, not even district court, from High Court. And and its copy is also given to the society. That letter's copy also given to the society. Same day that you submit that letter will be generated, and that that sending that letter is done by sub register of assurances by register post. But when you are getting that notice, no, to the builder and the and the landowner. That notice, it's two Xerox copy you take and you send to the landowner and the builder by society. That means from will be society, and in the register AD letter also from will be society, and that no, don't add any covering letter, just to send it. And if they don't accept, you will get a proof that they have not accepted. And if they accept, you will get a proof in AD that they have accepted that registered AD letter. And after 15 days, sometimes these bidders and the landowner, they come with a plain plea that we have received late, but you are having a proof of yourself that they have received in correct time, because on AD or even by tracking the postal delivery, that is possible now. Post office website, you can take that tracking printout of that letter, and with that you can justify that competent that sub register of assurances that they have received it and well in advance, and they just want to pass the time. And with this, that they will not have any place to talk to, and you will be given, that society will be given an appointment to do the registration of the conveyance deed by sub register of assurances. Now remember, when you are going to competent authority come district deputy registrar for his signature, that district deputy registrar will give you one letter after he puts the signature. That letter is important, and that letter will be part of this deed when you give for signature. When you register it, what that letter contains? That letter contains that district, usually when you register a sale deed, your house sale deed, when you buy from somebody, that seller as well as buyer, both of them present themselves to the district deputy registrar for putting the signature. However, in this case, in this case, that government officer, that is that district deputy registrar, is given an exemption that without his presence, that sale deed can be, that conveyance deed can be registered. Okay, that letter is important. Most of the time, that sub registrar office also forget to give that letter, and you also forget to collect that letter. And when you submit here, that that deed will not be registered, and therefore remember that letter from sub registrar, when you take a signature, you will have to take it, and this is most important. And after registering that sale deed with the sub registrar of assurances, major part of the conveyance deed is over. Now the minor part, that is that you will be you will be transferring that property card of the society's land at city survey office. There is a special form available at city survey office. The same form you can use it at talati office also for transferring 7 by 12 extract. And in that special form available at city survey office, you will uh, uh, apex that the sub register of assurances registered copy of the conveyance deed and its index too, and the one of the one signatory will be there, one person will be there who will be coming for the hearing at talati office as well as that city survey office for this transfer of land revenue document in the name of society. Okay, now that copy of resolution put on society's letterhead, and that one who is appearing for the society, only one person is enough, chairman or secretary, and his PAN card, Aadhaar card, Xerox copy, and other few documents. The list is available in that application form. Okay, only 4 or 5 documents, and after there is a in that list old other old uh, property card and old uh, 7 by 12 extract and mutation entry, old societies uh, map, land map. So all these things you have to attach and submit it for hearing at city survey office. Now city survey officer will give you the time not less than 15 days of after submission for hearing. And in this is only one side hearing in normal courts, in the sense when you buy the land from somebody and put the application for transfer of the land at city survey office, that seller and buyer both are called here. But because this is a deemed conveyance, only seller is that buyer is called. That is that uh, societies. Society means societies chairman or secretary, and with them that only one hearing takes place, that within 14 days or maximum 15 days of hearing, that property card is transferred in society's name, which is given by the city survey officer. The moment property card is transferred in society's name, next step is that survey of the land. With that society transfer property card attached to that letter application, which is available in city survey office for survey of the land. There are there are four types of surveys. One is ordinary survey, costing only 1,000 rupees, not under table. It is a regular money, and it may take a 6 months to 8 months time. Don't go for it. Then urgent survey, that is costing 2,000 rupees. Ask how many months or days they are taking in that office. If they say they are coming for the urgent survey, then you don't go for it. Go for most urgent survey. And most urgent survey charges is only 4,000 rupees, and that person will come surely in within 1 month maximum. Okay, and another, that emergency survey is there, that is costing 8,000 rupees, but that is usually not given to the ordinary people. That is given only when government want to acquire the land for its own use. That time only that uh, most urgent surveys use. Now here, when you are using number two or three type of survey, that time that when you apply after payment, you will be given a date. You ask in that office whether that when you must have seen that there will be tripod on which one telescope is placed and another person stands some distance with one long stick. huh? On the top of it, red and white color is pushed so that it is the way. Now, some of the survey office are not having either telescope, tripod, or that long stick. They ask you to get them from a private surveyor. Builders are having their own surveyor with this equipment, and then in that case, then you'll have to call that builder's man who is doing this survey and get that equipment from him so that he will take it back when that city survey officers complete the survey. And before you call him, find out how much he is going to charge. Anything between 4,000 and 10,000 they charge for that, hiring that equipment for only 3 4 hours. Okay, that you'll have to do that, because otherwise they will charge you anything more than that. Huh? So usually normal charges are 2 to 4,000 and do it. And after that survey is done, in 15 days, that society's map will get. Society's map will get means what? That in the on the land map, with the outline shown, it is only on the on the A4 size white paper. that were shown with the north on the top, that is north mark, north direction, and that in that boundary of the land, that your society's buildings outline will be shown. Outline in the sense, when your society's building is seen by an aeroplane, how that outline only you see. So outlines are drawn. Okay, the outlines are drawn for one building or two building, whatever the number of buildings that your society has, and that will be the land map which is most needed. This here it ends the work at city survey office. City survey office gives you the property card transferred in society's name and property map. Okay. Then same way hearing takes place at Talati office. The Talati office, that 7 by 12 extract and mutation entry in form 6 will be given by the Talati. Talati's office, that survey will be not there. Only these two entries after 15 days after hearing. So with this, that society's name is fully transferred in land records of the government. Okay, this is important because when society goes for redevelopment, then that society's land record is seen in the sense in property card and 7 by 12 extract, that society's land area is properly stated, and in the map that properties the society is building as well as map is shown with proper scale, and with this you are sure to go for the deemed redevelopment of the building. Now here, after doing this, the next step or rather last step is that transfer of society's municipal tax, that of the of the common area of the society in society's name, and individual flats of the society municipal property tax in flat owner's name or even shop owner's name, whatever that, and for which you have to, that society has to make an application with copy of the conveyance deed and its index too, huh, at ward office. In the ward office, that is assistant assessor and collector. Assistant assessor and collector in the ward office of the municipality. He is not controlled by ward officer. He is controlled by one common person called assessor and collector of that whole of the municipal area. And that assistant assessor collector is the officer of municipal taxes for that ward, and he will give you needful applications, and it is more or less in the same way at property card and 7 by 12 extract, and then that individual flag. Now this property tax is issued once in a year, and therefore that if already issued now in March or so, then it will take place next year. But on site from assistant assessor and collector's office, you can get that list or flat wise and the common tax of the common area in the name of society from assistant assessor and collector, that list you can get it. So this ends whole of the conveyance of the society's building and the land. And if you have any questions, you can ask me after this session. And in my life, I have found that if the people say that it needs corruption, I have not come across any corruption in four districts which I have done it, and my people in eight districts, whatever they have done, they are also not come across corruptions, because that I am having that a hukumi akka in my hand, that is to make a Lokshahi complaint or deemed conveyance Adalat complaint, with which that nobody dares to ask for the corruption. And in my case also, that I have found that people try to extract that delay the order. When you made the deemed conveyance Adalat complaint or Lokshahi complaint, and when the collector's order came, immediately on their own, they sent that, that order by post. Okay. At the same time, here also at Talati office and the city survey office, if they are not ready to give that property card or property map at city survey office, 7/12 extract and mutation entry in form 6 at Talati office, after your application, you make a Lokshahi complaint against that office. Immediately it will come. Okay, and I have I am giving this whole experience I have come across. I am doing cooperative housing societies legal paperwork from 1984. That time also, that the experienced advocates who are doing only that cooperative housing society work, they were telling without bribe they cannot do. That time in 1984, bribe was anything between 500 and 2000. That time I said, when I am doing the work, somebody should come and ask for the bribe with me. I am ready to give for 2000 rupees. I didn't get that chance. And over the year, I went on increasing. Today, my bribe is 25,000 rupees. Somebody should just put me in difficulty and I have no solution, but I have to give the bribe. Such situation never arises or arisen not only with me but with the people who have taken my guidance and had done it. Okay, and 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 simply that they who are asked for the money, they simply without any talk that they have done the work. And government has done this Lokshahi complaint redressal from 1995. Hardly anybody comes. I want to tell you at the end one small joke that in Thana, that one lady advocate phoned me and asking me, Shanbhag, will you please tell me how to make the Lokshahi complaint? She asked me somewhere, it was in 2018, um, October, some 10th or 11th, she phoned me, and I explained to her that it was her cooperative housing society some problem. I explained her, you make this way, and the Lokshahi complaint is that 15 days before the first Monday of the of the next month, hmm, if that collector receives that complaint, then he will take it on the next month first Monday. And if that complaint is issued less than 15 days time, then he will take next to next month first Monday. And that lady advocate, when they called, so that some 21 days were there. I told her that you are having a lot of days and you know how to present it because you are an advocate, and you just give that Lok Shahidin complaint in collector's office, Thane, and it will be redressed. It was in October. November first week, she again phoned me. Shanbhag sir, how to make an RTI? That also I explained. Then previous one, she has called me, and the first Monday of this month is already over. So she must have gone to the Lokshahi complaint. I just asked, Madam, last month you asked me regarding Lokshahi complaint, uh, and I explained to you, you must have attended that Lokshahi Thane Collector's Office this month for your cooperative housing societies work. Inside, sir, after I talked to you, I consulted my senior. My senior advised me, "Arey, don't give such advice to your client. We will lose the business of taking the method to the High Court under writ petition." So such is the mentality of an advocate. Okay, so then again she said, "See, you can also bring cases to me because I am taking half the charges for writ petition than any other. I said, I don't want to give even that half also. Because of that, I am taking the case to the Lokshahi complaint. Okay. So this is the way that the advocates are going. And the thing is, it went to that extent that Shanbhag's son, you should not hear. He is not an practicing advocate. And it went to that extent. Then last year, myself at the age of 67 with my daughter age 31, together we passed our LLB. Of course, I have not yet taken Sanad, and my daughter is working to Aura Jewelry, so she is not interested in taking Sanad. So that way, I will take, because people say that he is not having LLB. Having LLB means something great. So whenever I was taking any cooperative housing societies cases with the for my clients, and the opposite uh, persons, experienced advocate having lot of experience was coming, but they were all coming only for the first hearing because they were not having a single point to defend their client. So you should know where you are to defend yourself. Okay, and they were simply leaving the case. It has happened in 8 cases in my case. Okay, we will have question and answer session.
I have one question.
Huh.
Our land belongs to collector, and the building was constructed by one builder in the year 1974. Now the builder has not done the deemed conveyance. The land is on the lease basis. So recently we got the lease deed transferred in the name of society. Now deemed conveyance is so far not done. My question is that for the building, whether we have to do the deemed conveyance. This is my question.
See, when collectors transferred land in your society's name, have you transferred like property card of the land in society's name?
Yeah, we have recently got the lease deed transferred, and we have applied for transfer of property. The property certificate in the name of society.
So that for your Kulaba land, that your city survey office is near that old custom house. I
Correct,
think you
correct.
are there, no?
Yes, yes, we applied for a transfer of name over there. Yes.
Now, what you do is you first get that property card in your society's name.
Okay, okay.
After you get the property card in society's name,
Yeah,
you apply for land map with the city survey office.
okay,
Huh? That land map for which that I should say for survey of the land of society at city survey office.
okay,
And every time you write a letter to the collector, Mumbai City. That means when you apply for transfer of property card, you forward that application to the collector.
okay,
When you
okay,
ask, when you apply for a property map, you forward that application through the collector to the city survey office. This is most essential because the collector's law are so cruel that only because collector is not informed that you have to pay fine in crores. Okay,
okay,
and after that property card comes first, you'll go for property map. That all application to be done at city survey office officially get it transferred. I mean forwarded from collector's office without fail. Okay, and
okay,
when you get the city this property card, you take certified copy of the property card from the city survey office with covering letter. You with the Thanksgiving covering letter, give that property card certified copy to the honorable collector, requesting in that we are thankful to you for this land transfer. Now we request your permission to get the map of the society's building and the land from the city survey office, and that application also include, and that collector will transfer. Okay, when that land map comes, that time also you apply for a copy of the certified copy of the land map and give it to the collector. And after giving it to the collector, you write a letter to a collector that we are happy that collector has done work from his side, that is transfer of land and the property map in favor of society. Now, builder has not done transfer the land for the society, so we will go for the deemed conveyance with the competent authority. Your competent authority, district deputy registrar, sits in Malhotra House. Okay, and because that of this, we would like to make honorable collector as party, stating that he has transferred that work land in the name of the society, and that's the only for name's sake, that to make sure that conveyance deed is one-side conveyance deed, and in which that district deputy registrar will sign for the bidder, and then that on that conveyance deed of the building, that collector will sign for landowner. Okay, so this way you go for the deemed conveyance of the building.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Thank you. Yeah.
I had one query that in cases where there are more than one societies on the same plot of land, and each society is looking for an undivided deemed conveyance to an undivided share, how will the shares be quantified for each society?
Now, if the water tank, water supply, or a gate, or a common ground are all common, then you have to go for conveyance of both the buildings together. Conveyance and deemed conveyance, whatever the way it is. And
Okay.
if it is possible to divide, then by taking divide the land, when you divide the land, both societies should have a separate entrance, proper road, access road, and everything. Okay, and water connection should be different, and two buildings can separately live. I mean, have an existence with its own. That sometimes the buildings are on a long rectangular plot, that for backside building, the same road from the front side building it goes, in which case that backside building should given an access from the front side building that way. I have no idea, I have not seen the plot and how the buildings are located. By taking all such thing in mind, so either together or separate. Now, if you are going for separate, this one, then you will have to take help of an architect to divide that land. And after dividing that land, each society will get the land area proportionate to its usage of FSI. Okay. And if any surplus land common to both the society remains, then that it should be divided between them to put the compound wall. And you have to take help of an architect in this when the division comes into picture.
So the basis would be FSI utilization if it is separate.
FSI utilization. Yes. FSI utilization.
Okay.
Sir, I wanted to ask regarding the first answer. In case of a lease from the collector, after getting the lease, when you are going for a deemed conveyance, are there any lease premium which has to be paid to the collector for transfer of ownership right?
No, look. So that collector's land, deemed conveyance, don't go for deemed conveyance immediately. First, you inquire with the collector's land, collector's office, whether that type of land, okay, can be converted B1 to B2, whatever the way. And that if you go for conversion, that conversion is easy. Just now somebody has asked me the question from Kulava that that collector's land on which that society or existing collector himself has given them that society that land and property card transfer is help. Same way it may help, and you go for it, right to collector and get the transfer of land at collector's end first, and then it will be the deemed conveyance only for the bidding for builder without asking, without approaching. This is the same case with the municipal land. Okay, with municipal land also, right to municipal, that in head office there is one property department. You go there and ask about your land and transfer of the land. Either the transfer need not be, listen, the transfer need not be ownership. It may be a long lease of 30 years or so. Okay, that will also do, and conveyance can be done. Okay. On
Okay,
MADA
sir.
land, there is absolutely no deemed conveyance. MADA on its own transfers the building if it is built by MADA, and it's a land, it gives on long lease. That MADA is not transferring the land to the society, but it gives on the land long lease. Earlier it was given for 99 years lease. Now it is some 30 years lease it is giving. But don't worry, after 30 years lease will continue.
The same is the case of Sidco also.
Yeah. Sidco also. Yes. In Sidco also. Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And same is the case with MMRDA also. In Mumbai
Okay.
area, in MMRDA area, with MMRDA is also having Mumbai Metropolitan Regional Development Authority. They are also having the same problem. First, contact with such authority, and then you go for the deemed conveyance.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.